Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory is due unto Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Makokodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. The true Hebrew Israelites of the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, as well as you Israelite foreigners who may look like the other nations, but believe this truth. This is Brother Shakal from a Great Millstone affiliate camp from Massachusetts. And this is a video lesson on how we're about to be placed back in our true land, the true Israelites back in our land. Yahawashi is going to come with the angels, beam up the elected from the destruction of America, Babylon the Great, and then we'll be back in our own land and rule in righteousness over the other nations, and you know the story. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord Yahawah, bahasham, will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers, Israelite strangers, shall be joined with them. And I just did a lesson on how Israelites can be strangers. Is the Hebrew word gar, and technically we're all strangers because we're not all in the land. And when you look at the definition, it goes into, I'll just bring it up. Should have gotten in a blue letter. So Isaiah chapter 14 verse 1, for the word strangers is gar, Strong's H1616. In the Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, or Gesenius, a sojourner, stranger, foreigner, a person living out of his own country. So they're Israelite strangers. Now, the people, if it said the strangers, there's another verse that said the strangers would be able to go back and get a piece of land from being an Israelite outside the land. So if the strangers were talking about the other nations, how come in Ezekiel 36 in verse 5 it shows you how the Most High is against the heathen having our land? Because wouldn't they be strangers that could have land? It's because it's talking about Israelite strangers. This is Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 5. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahawah, bahasham, power. Surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, the so-called white man, the Edomites, or enemy, which have appointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. And this goes with the Balfour Declaration. So, and I think it's Ezekiel, maybe 47. See if I remember. I think it's this one. Ezekiel chapter 47 verse 22, and it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, what shall beget children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, there shall ye give him his inheritance, saith Yahawah bahasham power. So, if you have an Israelite outside the land, he should be able to come back to the land and get land. So clearly, the Most High is against the heathen being in our land. So how would it make sense that the strangers are heathen when they're Israelite strangers outside the land? Now we're back to the point, because I kind of Isaiah chapter 14 verse 1, for the Lord Yahawah shall have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them, the heathen, in the land of the Lord Yahawah Israel, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So we're going to put the Edomites in captivity, the so-called white people. And you do have Israelites that look like so-called white people, just to make that clear. And you have Edomites that look like so-called black people. I just covered the wheat and the tares parable in Matthew 13 yesterday, briefly. So we're going to get back to our own land. Yahawah is going to bring us back to our land. And we're going to put Esau in slavery. And we're also going to put the other nations in slavery. This is Baruch chapter 2. Let me do it this way. Yeah, because I wanted to get it how I like how this online Bible reads, how it looks. Baruch chapter 2 verse, because you can read the letters well. Baruch chapter 2 verse, or see them. Baruch chapter 2 verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, talking about Israel. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, talking about the elect, and this is happening now. And shall know that I am Yahawah, shall their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name. And this main captivity is America's spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Who rules here? The Edomites. And what did it say? Will take them for servants and handmaids, and shall take them captives whose captives they were, and rule over their oppressors. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies, not literal, shall die in the street of the great city, America's great city, what spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Sodom, this is America. Sodom because of the homosexuality. In America, this is Egypt. We're taken here in slave ships, Deuteronomy 28:68. Where also our Lord Yahawah was crucified, and again, not literally. So America is this Egypt, the place of our captivity. The main place. Verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, 350 years, from 1619 to 1969, which was a period of captivity, also known as 42 months, or 1,203 score days. You read about in Revelation 13, Revelation 12, and also different places in Revelation 11. So Revelation 11 and 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahawah entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And after after that 3 days and a half, that's when the truth started being pushed. And you had the forerunners, Abba Bivens, who was Elijah coming back, Malachi chapter 4, I think it's verse 5, or verses 4 and 5, if I'm correct. That if one west to the apostles a great millstone, and now to what you see today. Verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And that's the elect of Israel being beamed up in the so-called UFO, when Yahawashi and the angels return. And then we'll get the new bodies, the laws written in our inward parts, hopefully with that number, at the time of the destruction of America by fire, Babylon the Great. And then we'll be placed back in our own land. So go back to Baruch 2, and I'll start at the top of verse 30 again. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord Yahawah, bahasham their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name. And something came to my mind. Isaiah 19, in verse 18, it says, In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt, this Egypt is America, the spiritual Sodom of Egypt we just read about, the main land of our captivity we read in Baruch 2, in the land of Egypt shall speak the language of Canaan, and that's the Hebrew, and swear to the Lord Yahawah of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. This place can be destroyed by the nuclear missiles. And so the Israelites are starting to learn the Hebrew. In knowing the Hebrew, we call upon the name of Yahawah and the Son's name, Yahawashi. Let's get this in the NLT. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 18. In that day, 5 of Egypt's cities will follow the Lord of heaven's armies. They will even begin to speak Hebrew. And we see this in this Egypt. In Babylon the Great, we're turning to the Hebrew language. Israelites are waking up. The language of Canaan, one of these cities will be Heliopolis, the city of the sun. And as soon will be delivered at the time of the destruction of this place, the elect, hopefully of the elect, and will be set back in their own land, and take them captives whose captives they were. Have concubines of the other nations' women, and will be the kings and rulers of the earth with Yahawashi and King David and let's go back to Baruch 2 and verse 32. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord Yahawah bahasham Yoshai. And before I move on, Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, and that's the Hebrew. Israelites are speaking the Hebrew, the language of Canaan, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. Heavenly Father's name is Yahawah, and the Son's name is Yahawashi. See that in Proverbs 30 and 4. So back to Baruch chapter 2. In verse 30, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord Yahawah bahasham Yoshai. And shall do so, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. So we're going to be brought back to our homeland. So it said we would remember in the lands of our captivities, we would remember ourselves, and then we will be brought back, which is happening today, then brought back to our land. So this is happening to the true Israelites. This is another indicator of who the Israelites are. And so we would have to be in captivity before being brought back to our land. And clearly that didn't happen to the small hats. None of this happened to the small hats. Verse 35, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power, their God, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people out of Israel, my people of Israel, Slakia, out of the land that I have given them, and we're going to have an everlasting kingdom. The saints, the children of Israel, are the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess it even forever and ever. Daniel 7:18. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. And the scriptures speak about how the saints, America's the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. You had the so-called Native Americans and all that history. And so the saints, we went through all this suffering, all this captivity, but would wake up in the last days and be brought back to our own land and rule the earth. So now let's go to Ezekiel 37. Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 11. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord Yahawah bahasham power. Behold, my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. And the main graveyard is Babylon the Great, America. And ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahawah bahasham when I have opened your graves, and the elect prophets teaching out on the highways and the byways. That's us coming up out of the graves. Which is what you see. O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then ye shall know that I, Yahawah bahasham, have spoken it and performed it, said the Lord Yahawah bahasham. So we'll be brought back out of our graves. The prophets will be teaching, would through them teaching the word. The rest of the elect would wake up, would be delivered, endured through the time of Jacob's trouble, even if be putting to death, and then be placed back in our own land and rule forever. Have the laws written on our inward parts. So this Israel thing is not just a thing. We're about to be the kings of the earth. We're about to be placed back in our own land. And people know that those people in the land aren't the people, or the true people of the land. Is being said publicly. So I think that's all the scriptures that I had. So we're almost out of here. Yeah, so with that, I'll give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Kokodash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone of the will.